Hello to all you hip skips out there.
And welcome to The Jungle. Join Disney historian David Dr. Skipper Marley and art director and crooner Trevor Kelly as these former jungle skips explore the world of Disney, pop culture and theme parks. But hold on tight, because just like a jungle cruise, their conversations often head deep into uncharted waters. Now, grab a seat and enjoy Expedition 40, My Way Murders, Priced Out of the Parks, and Miss Jackson if your skipper's nasty. Move it up, skips.
Rickles' joke, and I think I've told it before, but one of my favorites of his was when Sinatra Jr. got kidnapped, and then everything worked out fine, and he was on, I think, Carson, and the joke was, did you hear about Frank Sinatra Jr.'s kidnappers? Yeah, they returned him after they heard him sing.
Wow. Wow.
Which is a bold joke to make on many fronts.
Yes, right? Crap. Not as bold as kidnapping Sinatra's kid.
No, there's a great podcast, like a 6-part podcast that John Stamos hosts.
Oh, wow.
About the whole kidnapping. Phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, it's all over. Like, these guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Especially the main guy that did it. Clearly some mental issues occurring there. He thought he was on a mission from God.
Oh, no, that's always bad.
Yeah.
Always bad.
The only time that's ever been entertaining is the Blues Brothers.
One and only time, that's right. One of the best movies of all time. So can I start with a very random thing?
Please.
I think it ties in with the Frank Sinatra thing.
Oh, cool.
About the mafia and whatnot. So I pick up my oldest from their job at the supermarket in Newport Beach, and they go, Dad, my boss thinks you look like you could be the leader of a biker gang. I swear to God, I was wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt when they said it. I'm like, what?
Well, those Disney gangs.
Those Disney gangs. I did have a Raiders hat on, so
okay.
I'll cut a bitch.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, he thinks you look like you could be the leader of a biker gang.
Really?
And I go, well, what did you say? She goes, I just laughed. I'm like, okay, because you're big and you just stand there and you.
Has he seen a biker gang?
Must not have ever seen a biker gang. No.
You are tall and you can be intimidating when you want to be, but I don't know that my first thought when looking at you is
biker gang.
Yeah,
leader. What the hell? So yeah. So
all right, interesting.
Wasn't wearing a leather jacket. I've never ridden a motorcycle. I've ridden a moped. Mopeds don't count.
That reminds me of, in the vein of compliments I will happily accept, but I have no basis in reality.
Yes.
I had a person tell me I look like Ryan Gosling. And I thought to myself, no, but I will take that.
Yeah, right? I can see it.
Happily, I will take that. I don't know. So
yeah, that's my very random event.
Right.
I had a great or interesting visit to Disney's rival Knott's Berry Farm last week. Took my oldest with me and went with Skipper Eddie.
That's right.
Indy Hat Guy. And then
yeah.
Skipper Sil from
Florida.
From the East Dock. Yep, she was out here. They were hanging out. So I was able to sign them in. Thanks you to Kip. Give me the free pass.
Kip Hart.
Kip is the man. He called in sick that day, so we couldn't see him. I go, after we're done, we'll go find Kip in the parking lot. Nope. Thanks, Kip. The best part, I was going to pay for parking, and I give him my card, and the guy goes, partners, which is the Disney credit union.
Yeah.
He goes, partners. Oh, I have to charge you double, sir. I thought that was hysterical.
That's great.
But we went, and I can't believe I forgot this. For 5.5 years, I was a school bus driver. And in Newport Beach, and every year, this time of year, all the junior highs have graduation days where they go to Knott's Berry Farm for the day.
Oh my goodness.
Because I remember I would drop all the kids off and then I would race back to Knott's and I would drive there as fast as I could. Because then I'd have like 45 minutes where they would let you in the park for free if you're a bus driver. I would go on a couple roller coasters and then go back and drive the kids home.
Awesome.
One time I went, all the drivers were like, hey, come here, we're talking about the union. I'm like, bye. Roller coasters. Like, right? So I'd always do that. So we get there. There were literally thousands upon thousands of junior high kids at Knott's Berry Farm.
No.
And so every ride that was working had an over 2-hour wait.
And those kids run that park. It's like Lord of the Flies over there now.
Yes. There were teachers there trying to keep stuff under control.
That's good.
That slightly helped.
Yeah.
But good God, I think all humans are created equal except junior high boys. And we were both junior high boys. At some point, we went from being humans We became this weird subhuman junior high boy, and then you're allowed back into humanity. Yes. Well, here's my question for you.
Yes.
Does being a former cast member, does it ruin you for going to other parks? Or am I, it's like the Reddit, am I the a-hole? This is my, I know the answer for me is yes.
It's a short Reddit thread.
Yes. Anything, everyone's like, yes, you are.
You haven't even finished
Whatever
typing.
it is, you are. What?
I wonder your question.
Well, I didn't get.
Oh, I'm sorry.
no,
I thought you started.
What was my? Oh no, yeah, that was my question. I'm sorry. I did ask. Yeah. Has it ruined you? And then I will tell you an anecdote.
I would think, if I'm going to correctly look at this, for people of a certain generation, yes. If you grew up with Disneyland and you go to other theme parks, there is a pre-ingrained, because Disney had such the gold standard of service and showmanship for such a long time that for people like us of a certain age, going to other theme parks is a subpar experience. I would imagine like the current generation, there's not too much of a difference. I mean, with Knott's Berry Farm maybe, but Universal's just keeps sucking up all of Disney's ex-Imagineers and killing it with stuff. So they might even think that Universal's better than Disney at this point, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Would be my guess.
Okay.
In fact, I just saw a thing. Dollywood just won the best theme park in a survey, and it beat Disney.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would like to go, but I don't want to go to Tennessee.
That's fair.
I've been to Tennessee. I'm good. Kentucky, I liked. Tennessee. So here's why.
That's my thought.
Here's why I asked. The whole day I'm like, well, they don't have enough trash cans. And so I'm like watching how they queue, and I finally like started to lose my mind at the swings. You know, there's like this in the Fiesta Village.
Yes.
There's like 2 rows of swings, and it goes around.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the machine goes up and it tilts, and so I'm watching this line. The line was over an hour, so we come back when it was only 30 minutes.
Okay.
So we're waiting, and I'm watching, and I'm just critiquing it how long it's taking them to load everybody. And then after everybody's loaded, the two whatever employees just sit there and talk for a minute. I'm like, well, clearly something wrong. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they both start running the ride. I'm like, why did you not just hit the ride immediately?
Yeah.
You were talking for like 2 or 3 minutes. Like stuff like that just enrages me.
Yeah, they just
And
don't
thought,
care.
That's Disney. Disney did that to me before I wouldn't have noticed. Now I'm like, that's inefficient.
But I think that's just indicative of like that cat. What does he care?
Yeah, there was a lot of not particularly caring.
Yeah.
But like, remember when we worked there, Jerry York, our famous lead, was always like, he was about efficiency. For him, that was the most important thing. As many people on that boat as you can. Let's make that wait as short as possible.
There were days our numbers would beat like some of the big people eaters in the park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We could easily do 2,000 people an hour.
Which, if you aren't aware, a people eater is like a cast member slang for like a Pirates of the Caribbean or a people mover, where it's just constantly sucking people off of the walkways.
If every single person that came to Disneyland waited in line for Pirates of the Caribbean, it could take like 50,000 of them. It can hold that many people constantly.
Really?
Yeah. It can take, and what's the worst one? Peter Pan can take 500 an hour. That's it. The line is, you got to do that rope drop or don't, just give up.
Yeah.
Just give up hope.
Yeah, absolutely. We got on a little bit. Do you mind if I share something?
Please. I've been talking a lot.
We got on a little bit of this at the top of the show with Sinatra. And I came across this fantastic article. Apparently there is a documentary coming out later this year on My Way, which is, one of the big Francis Albert Sinatra tunes.
Just on that song.
Just on that song.
Oh, awesome.
And the history behind it. It's 55 years old.
Wow.
This year. And there's a couple of fun facts I wanted to share that we could maybe talk about that
hit me.
Seemed very odd to me.
Okay.
One, apparently, My Way began as a French pop hit that was by a doomed Parisian singer. Doomed. The melody, the background of My Way is from this pop singer song. And apparently it was a common practice to take overseas like songs and then just write new lyrics for the English market. Beyond the Sea, Bobby Darin is an example of that. But the original Parisian song opens with the line,
I get up, I shake you, you don't wake up, as usual.
Which I don't know if like she's dead or they're just like not.
That sounds pretty dead.
Yeah. But apparently he died being electrocuted as he changed a light bulb while standing in a bathtub.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really...
Did it my way.
That's a horrible... Yeah, he did. He did.
So, but apparently one of the original versions of the song, the initial attempts in English, written by David Bowie.
Really?
And rejected.
Well, David Bowie was a hack. We all know that.
That's right.
That is the least likely sentence in English you'll ever hear.
His was called Even a Fool Learns to Love.
Ooh, okay.
Which opens with...
There was a time, the laughing time, I took my heart to every party. They'd point my way, how are you today? Will you make us laugh, chase our blues away? That funny man won't let him down. No, he'd dance and prance and be their clown. That time, the laughing time, when even a fool learns to love.
So that was the intro line to it. The publisher in Bowie's version was shelved, and he agreed with it. He called the version god-awful and terrible. But he got so mad when he heard Paul Anka's and Sinatra's version that it inspired him to write an equally grand song. That song, Life on Mars.
No way.
Yeah. So
Wow.
My Way inspired him to write Life on Mars.
I had no idea.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Paul Anka, who wrote the song, bought the song for $1, the rights to the song. And
He made his money back on that, I think.
just a bit.
Just a bit.
And so Sinatra invited him to dinner and told him, I'm going to retire, because he was all pissed off because he was getting divorced from Mia Farrow.
Yeah.
Which is, there's a great documentary that a chunk of it touches upon this called The Kid Stays in the Picture.
Oh, yeah. God, I love that. Have you heard the audiobook?
No.
I found the book. I listened to the audiobook because I was listening to Patton Oswalt doing a stand-up bit.
That's where I
And
was
he
first made
mentions-
aware, yeah.
he goes, listen to the audiobook because he reads it himself.
Oh.
And he is nuts. And it's a documentary. You can watch the documentary too.
Yeah.
I rented it and watched it. It's fantastic. Robert Evans. And
what a voice on that guy.
So you got to listen. That's there's two books. I'm like, you have to listen to the audio. That's one of them. The other one is Martin Short's autobiography.
Oh, I'll
Fame
bet.
Becomes Me.
Oh.
Where he adds in more stories and does voices and characters
Really?
that are not in the book. It is so funny.
Oh, they touch upon, because Mia Farrow, Sinatra was going to do another detective movie, and Mia Farrow was doing Rosemary's Baby, I want to say at the time. And Rosemary's Baby went over on their shoot, and she was supposed to be in the Sinatra movie. And so Sinatra gave her an ultimatum, which not a great move on his part, of you either quit Rosemary's Baby and come into my movie, or we're divorced. And so she stayed on Rosemary's Baby, and he served her divorce papers
On the set, right?
On the
Yeah,
set.
yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, come on, man. Can't you see you've done well? You have a 23-year-old Mia Farrow. You're like 80 at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe just play the cards you're dealt at this point.
Yeah.
And don't do that. But
Or your third wife will be a gold digger. That's the curse.
that's right,
Oh, my
Barbara
God.
Sinatra.
Oh, that's what happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a rough.
Yeah.
But he was all bummed out because he got divorced from Mia Farrow, and so he asked Paul Anka to write him a song. And so because he was going to retire, I think this is one of his first retirements, they wrote My Way for him. Yeah.
That's cool. I had no idea about that.
And Frank Sinatra recorded the song in a single take.
Really?
One take, My Way,
Wow.
done. He did that, not a lot, but he could do it. And nailed it in one. And then that was it. And apparently he hated the song towards the end of his career, which I get. I hate that song too.
Do you really?
I just don't, it's a little schmaltzy.
Okay.
And to me, maybe hate's the wrong word. It feels disingenuous for me to sing it as a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Talking about like, I looked at the rest of my whole life and I did it my way, baby. Like, maybe when I'm 70, the song will
Yeah.
make a little bit more sense. But people like to hear it, so I sang it. And then one more fact for My Way, and this was the most surprising one, and I'd completely forgotten about this. My Way supposedly triggered a rash of murders.
Why?
Do you remember this?
Look at that lead you to murder. I mean, if I heard like a Def Leppard song, I would start murdering people, or Aerosmith, but that's for different reasons.
In the Philippines, apparently this song is like godlike status.
Okay.
And so there was a period of time where people would sing this in the Philippines, and if they weren't doing a good job, they got murdered. Like, people would get so angry if somebody butchered this song.
Yeah.
At least 12 people allegedly were murdered in connection from not doing My Way at a karaoke bar well enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Isn't that nuts? And so my goal now is to go to the Philippines and sing My Way and know that I probably won't get murdered. I'll get murdered for other reasons. But
yeah. You just walk around all cocky. Yeah, I can sing
right.
My Way and not get murdered in the Philippines. What are you looking at?
Any karaoke bar in the Philippines, I can sing My Way in.
Yeah, and walk out alive and unscathed.
Right.
Wow.
I just would love it, like, because I imagine, like, if you request My Way at a karaoke bar in the Philippines now, it probably just gets quiet like an old saloon.
Right? Yep. You hear the creaking of the door hinges as you walk up to grab the microphone.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do that, son? But yeah, that was wild to me.
Wow. That is officially the craziest thing I've ever heard about a Frank Sinatra song where he's not having people murdered.
That's right. That's his pastime.
Completely in. Yeah. He had nothing to do with it.
That was my little trip down My Way lane with some interesting facts that I had never heard, and I was thrilled to share with all you cats.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah. Do you know when that comes out or no?
The documentary?
Yeah.
Later this year. It just premiered at Cannes. Cannes?
Cannes. I don't know. It's French. So
Carnitas?
in French, the important thing is you don't pronounce anything.
Anything.
You for the first letter, and the rest is just oh.
Okay, so con.
Con.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
You fixed it.
I can pretend to speak French. If I do German, you just pretend to be angry and just say lots of hard consonants, and it works. It works.
The angriest language.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They can be happy, and I'm afraid.
That might be even more terrifying.
A happy German.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
That's a Disney film in the 70s, right?
The happy German.
The Happy German. One of their lost studio flops.
They don't release it at all.
That's right. That one's in the vault forever.
Forever. They've erased it from the list of Disney films.
I wonder if there are movies like that besides Song of the South that they're just never going to see the light of day ever again, that we just have forgotten about. Because Song of the South is a famous one because, and it's one of those things where I think if it were actively available, nobody would give a crap about it because it's probably not a great film.
I have a copy.
Do you?
I do.
Is it like in Japanese? Or?
It's all in English. When they start to sing, Japanese subtitles appear at the bottom. So I had a student who was in Japan because Disney would sell copies in Japan.
Yeah.
It was popular. And so they said for karaoke, there had to be Japanese subtitles just for the songs.
Oh, wow.
Because some of the karaoke songs were popular.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I showed it once at a university I was teaching at. We had like a discussion where we showed it.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting.
Really?
It is not as bad as everybody thinks.
That's what I would
Like,
assume.
My master's degree is in African American history. So I came to it with some kind of idea. And it's not great. I mean, parts, but it's not the horrific nightmare that people imagine it to be. Because I was watching it thinking, all right, here it's going to be
Right.
like, oh, it's not. Oh, okay. It's just kind of dated.
I think there's probably stuff that's equally as bad, if not worse, in other films of that era.
I'll tell you what is.
What?
The crows from Dumbo.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing that's still around.
1,000 times more racist than anything you see in Song of the South.
Those crows are like, that is unfortunate.
They are, even as a little kid, I
Yeah.
remember seeing it going, well, that's not right.
Right?
Like, huh.
Yeah, if you're a child watching it, you're like, that's pretty racist.
Right? Right?
Come on, Dumbo.
Yeah. If you're like under 10 going, I don't agree with the racial profile right there.
Right.
That's a sign you've gone too far.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to occur. I mean, I know we're all very like aware and respective and careful as much as possible. At least some studios are nowadays. I wonder if there's going to be something that we look back on it like 20 years from now and we're like, oh my gosh, how was that ever in Frozen or whatever?
Right?
Yeah.
There will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, we just wanted to take a quick minute in this episode to thank our fantastic Patreon supporters.
Yep. Thank you so much. We could not do it without you. We bought all kinds of fun microphones.
That's
We
right.
did our latest Patreon-only episode on,
We did.
thanks to your kind generosity.
We did it at Trader Sam's, so stay tuned for that. In the next couple of weeks, you'll be listening to that.
Yeah.
And then we also spent your Patreon money on a seedy Vegas trip.
It was shameful.
It was, the cops even were disgusted when
Yeah.
they found us.
But half the Patreon money went to the cops.
That's
so
true.
No
So
records,
thank you.
No records at all.
So
We know what we're doing.
you were literally supporting the creation of the show because it gets us out of jail
Yep.
so we can record episodes.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
And go back to Trader Sam's.
That's right.
We'd like to send a shout out to all of our hip skips. Those are the people that give us the $5 a month. We really appreciate it. It's like a nice tip. And then all your combined donations go a long way towards helping us out. I'd like to give our thanks to our fine friends Teeny Towel, Ducky, Beyond the Railroad Podcast, Matt Hubert, Carolyn Price, Team Palmer, and Joshua Bell. Thank you so much for your help.
And I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our Ancient Order of the Cambodian Shriner. That's our $15 level. Again, a fantastic support to the podcast, and we have some cool perks coming your way and also the $5 level way soon.
Yep.
Stay tuned for that. But I'd like to thank Jim Chamberlain, Darla Kendrick, Sean Ross, Sissy Von Rue, Kim Medlin, Steve Reed, Wayne Stonecipher, Ashley McGee, Rick Martin, Paula Malcolm Elhart, Sarah Malik, Lapu Lisa and Mecha Grogzilla, Geo Trash Girl, Kristen Moore, Ashley Gallus, Darren Zakich, Terry Walker, Jim Chamberlain, Sent from Disneyland, Matt B, and Nicole Clough. Thank you, thank you.
That is fantastic.
So-
May I tell them the one perk that's coming their way?
Yeah, please.
To all of the second edition of my Jungle Cruise history book called The Jungle Cruise, The Wild History of Walt's Favorite Ride is coming out this August, and you guys are getting the first chapter for free.
Come on now.
We're going to email it to you.
That is a $3,000 value
It
for
is
free.
absolutely free. So and the first chapter is for some reason the longest in the book. So
That's most of the book.
it's good God. I don't know why it is, but it is the longest chapter. So you're getting that for free. You can see all the changes I've made to it, and yeah, you'll love it. Hopefully you'll love it.
How awesome. So thank you, everybody. Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
All right. What do you got?
This one is a little bit. It's a more of a Jungle Cruisy cast member, slightly more serious thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm working on, as I said, I guess in the last episode, I'm working on the second edition of the Jungle Cruise history book.
Yes.
Addition to this one will be edited, so the spelling's correct. And I've added new stuff in, and I've been doing more interviews and getting more research done. I added a lot of stuff from Florida. There's a lot of fun new stuff in there. But I learned something in interviewing one skipper, but also other cast members from Disneyland,
Oh.
where I was complaining about what I felt was the low quality of cast members.
Yes.
And I had a student at Cal State Fullerton who is also a trainer and a lead go, well, here's the problem with current cast members. This is the first generation of young people that are priced out of the park.
Oh.
And they said the last 4 groups of trainees they've had, none of them had been in the park before going to Disneyland University.
Oh my gosh.
They had, because they couldn't afford it. They've never been inside the park, so they have no idea about courtesy and all the way Disney does things. They have no experience. To them, it's like working at the mall. Like they have and they said for old timers, it's very difficult because these newer people who've never been there before don't care.
So there's no emotional attachment, no nostalgia,
Nope.
nothing?
Nope. They said that in one whole Disney University class, like 90% of them never been inside the park before.
Wow.
And they're just getting hired to work there. And to them, it's just, it's a job. Because you can get a better paying job almost anywhere.
Yes.
If you're a high school, young college student than Disneyland. So their pay isn't great. Like in the 70s, they paid so much high, almost double the rate of any other job. So they could be really selective on who they took.
Yeah.
Now it's almost I could get rehired. That's how bad the standards are getting. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
They're like, wild.
Because they don't know. Some of them aren't even sure who the Disney characters are.
This is a big problem for them, I think, going forward.
And to me, it's the result of them wanting to have a high turnover to keep rates low.
Yeah.
Like they tried really hard. Eisner started this in the 80s and it's been going on ever since. Once you hit a certain level, Disney tries to weed you out to save a few bucks every hour.
And that's why and that's where also the point system was a rigged system to kind of designed to get you out of there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was designed to, and we lost a lot of good cast members who had been there for years when that point system kicked in.
Which, should we describe the point system kind of like Cliff's Notes version?
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine about our podcast, and she really enjoyed it, thought it was great. She goes, but a lot of your stuff is inside baseball. Like, if you don't know Disney, you guys say certain things, we have no clue what you're talking about.
Interesting.
So we got to do that. So anyway, point system. They would get you points based on your attendance. So if you were late, you would get 1.5 points. If you called in sick, that was 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
And you could use, if you called in sick for 1 day, you might as well use it for all 2 days because you
can continue and not accrue.
Yes.
Yeah.
For like another day or two. And once you got, I think it was 15 points.
Yeah.
You could be fired.
Yes.
But you would get a warning at like 12 or whatever, and your points would stay on for a year. So let's say you called in sick July 1st and you got 3 points on July 1st this year. It would stay there till July 1st of next year before those 3 points fell off your record. So when they instituted it, they kind of backdid it. And suddenly a friend of ours had 30 points. And they're like, what? You just started the policy? Yeah, but we're making it retroactive to last year. And so they just started firing people left and right.
Yeah.
A good friend of ours, Cassandra Laput, was in that system. They told her, you have too many points, but we need you to stay training. So can you stay for another month or two and train people? And she was trainer of the year at Adventureland.
And then we'll fire you?
Yep. They said, we have to let you go because this is the point system. We can't do anything about it, but we need you to stay for 2 months to train people.
Nope.
Right? Well, she's a better person than we are because she
Yeah.
stayed. I just would have burned my way out of Main Street. Yeah. So that was the point system. So I remember I only got there late one time the whole 3.5 years I worked there. And I didn't get
Wow.
What's funny is I walked in with this guy who got fired later. This guy was kind of a jackass. But we're walking in together.
Like,
and
I'm right here, Dave.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were listening. In my defense. We walk onto the dock.
I hit mute every time on my headphones when you talk.
So when you're editing it, you're like, oh
wow. Dave was talking a lot.
This is all new stuff. All right. So we're both walking in a little bit late. First time in like 3.5 years I was ever late. I walk onto the dock. The lead's there. And he's like, hey, he goes, hey, whatever the guy's name was, Bill. Is Bill, that's 1.5 points, you're late. Hey, Dave, how's it going? And I just said, hey, Scott. And I kind of looked where I was and went. And instead of saying, hey, he got off, why don't I? He goes, hey, why don't you get him too? I'm like, wow, you should say you didn't bust him. Why bust me?
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm going to burn you too. That tells you all you need to know about this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a jerk thing to do. And he goes, Dave's been here for over 2 years. He's never been late one time.
Yeah.
And he goes, so I know whatever happened today was bad enough to make him 10 minutes late. He goes, you're late all the time. And he was gone like 2 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
Gone. Yeah.
Ugh.
Fired for saying highly inappropriate things on the boat.
Really?
Like, yeah. And skippers heard him and like, this, you can't let this keep going on. And they walked him out.
Was that the worst?
And now we killed him. Took him out in the back lot, beat him to death.
With microphones.
Exactly.
I wonder, was that the worst firing offense that you witnessed in person? Because that jogged just a couple memories of people that I saw got fired. Then I'm like, oh, this is his last moments on the dock.
I'd seen some people. I wasn't on the boat when he was saying stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was on one. We were doing a retraining.
Oh.
And he rode my boat and started saying stuff that wasn't cool. And it was only skippers on the boat, but I had to stop him.
Really?
I'm like, whoa, you need to stop immediately. That is inappropriate to say, even with just skippers on the boat. Like, I would never talk like that. And he thought it was perfectly fine.
Oh no.
And I remember thinking, this kid's new, and if he thinks he can swear and do like sex jokes and all like about the right, like to the point where me and another, might have been Kaz, I don't know. We had to like tell him that was so inappropriate. Like, you don't ever joke like that. Ever, ever, ever. We do a lot of bad jokes, not even anywhere near that.
No.
So, there were people.
There's a line you should never cross.
Right.
I mean, look, we were a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
But I think everybody had a unspoken respect for, this is somebody's vacation that they've saved up a lot of money for,
Yeah.
potentially for even years.
Yeah.
I'm not here to ruin their day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And so he didn't last very long. He wasn't there more than a month or so.
Yeah.
They weeded him out pretty quickly.
I saw one.
Now the park filled with guys like that.
That's right. I saw one where this lady was getting off a boat. Well, actually, no, I don't know if it was a lady. A person was getting off the boat with that Janet Jackson shirt. What's the cover?
You were there for that.
I was there for that.
I interviewed a couple people that were there.
Really?
Yes, including the lead.
Oh, let me know if I get the story right.
Okay.
From what I recall, person gets off the boat with the Janet Jackson shirt, and it's the cover, album cover where she's topless and somebody's covering her boobs.
Yeah.
What's the right word nowadays? Boobs? Yeah.
The actual clinical term is boobs.
The boobies.
Boobies.
With their hands, and the skipper on unload lost his mind.
Yeah.
They got into an altercation, and it kept escalating to the point where the cast member then told the person, "I'm going to kill you."
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. I'm glad I remembered that way,
Yep.
because we were all stunned on the dock, and then that was the last we ever saw of them.
Yep. Our good friend Loretta was the lead.
Oh, really?
Loretta, second person to be Dr. Skipper. Can't emphasize that enough. I got my PhD first. And she said that cast member was a super nice guy and always got along with everybody.
They would bake cakes for everybody.
Yeah, they were a baker.
delightful.
Yeah, they were a baker. We
Yeah.
treats. And she told me that it was one of the most surprising events that ever happened because it was completely, she goes, we don't know if he was on drugs or if he'd had a mental breakdown.
Right.
But there was nothing in his history that showed he was going to snap. She goes, and it was a snap.
Yeah.
He saw that and went nuts. And yeah, threatening to kill somebody. Don't threaten to kill people and plan to still work at Disneyland.
Right. That's a Knott's Berry Farm thing.
Knott's Berry Farm, they do that all the time. That's like day one at Knott's Berry Farm.
I ordered chicken noodle soup. They go, "I'm going to fucking kill you."
That's how they roll. Yeah. So you were there for that.
Yeah, it was wild.
I never saw anything that exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just stunned because it was like a Dateline episode. We were like, "Oh, they were the nicest person," then suddenly they were killing people.
Yeah. Like, oh, they lit up a room. Those are murder victims. Who light up a room. I remember there, like getting there and a lead's like, "Hey, watch this." And like some guy walks up and he's like, "Hey, Bill," because that's my name for the day. "Hey, Bill, you got to go up to management real quick. They want to talk to you." He goes, "Oh, okay." And he walks away and goes, "We're never going to see Bill again." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Oh yeah, Bill's getting fired. Bill doesn't know it. He just got fired. He doesn't know it." We're like, "No way." So I saw that happen a couple times. "Hey, Fred, so-and-so wants to talk to you really quick." "Oh, okay."
They didn't fire him. Anybody with extreme anger issues, actually, they just shove him into the Donald Duck outfit on Main
Right?
Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in character.
Yeah. Yeah. Donald frickin' Duck. Come on.
Yeah.
Weird thing about, I read Neil Gabler's book on Walt Disney, which is just like the best biography of Disney ever.
Really?
Yes. And he got the permission of Disney's family to write it. I don't know if the company was thrilled about everything.
Okay.
But the family gave him all the access to all this
That's
stuff.
how you know it's good then.
Yes. If Disney didn't have a stamp all over it. They said that Donald came from, Donald is actually half of Mickey Mouse. They said Mickey, there was two different Mickeys. There was the fun-loving, sweet Mickey,
Yeah.
and then there was the chaos-causing Mickey.
Yeah.
And if you watch Steamboat Willie, it's mostly the chaos-causing Mickey. And as the character developed, they said he has to be one or the other.
Oh.
And so they got rid of the chaos element. They said, well, we need a character that's angry and weird like that.
Yeah.
Donald Duck. That's where he came from.
Interesting.
They split it. Basically, that's Mickey's split personality. His angry half is Donald Duck.
Huh.
That's where it came from.
It's so weird that like characters start off. That's not abnormal, I don't think. When a character starts off like that, and then they have like as they become more of a corporate mascot,
Yeah.
the corporation goes, well, they can't be trying to beat up everybody all the time.
Exactly.
That happened. If you watch some of the early seasons of the Muppet Show, Kermit is not the Kermit that we generally think nowadays, where he's like, "Oh yeah, we're just getting a gang together and roll nice, blah blah blah." He is kind of a dick at times.
That's a phrase you don't hear about.
He is, yeah. There's if there's the one thing that you've maybe that's the title for this episode is Kermit's a dick.
Kermit the Frog is a dick.
He shows emotion. He gets angry. He gets annoyed with people. He gets frustrated. He's not like completely like just eternal optimistic.
Yeah.
Kermit at the top, and it makes him more charming, I think.
Well, if you had to deal with Fozzie Bear and Miss Piggy, just the two of those alone,
Can you imagine?
that would drive me nuts.
That's enough.
And then whatever the hell Gonzo's up to.
I was told the other night that my Muppet, if they were going to play me in an autobiography, is Miss Piggy. And I can't disagree with that.
You as Miss Piggy?
Miss Piggy.
I've never seen you karate chop anybody.
Well, you've never gotten me mad.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I hear you go, hi-ya! Then I know I'm in trouble.
Now for the most dangerous part of our show, the return to civilization. If you've enjoyed the show and want to show some support while also getting some adventurously good extras, visit patreon.com/The Jungle Podcast. Also, if you could be so kind as to follow the lads on Instagram, I know they'd be thrilled, at Dr. Skipper Marley and at the.Trevor.Kelly. See you hip skips next time in The Jungle.